Hey Vinayak, welcome. How are you?
I I am good, Dhaval. Thank you. Uh, my name is Vinayak, and I am 37 years old, and I primarily into the business side of software, whether it is on the sales, pre-sales, and post-sales. I worked over multiple startups, and I am based in Bangalore, and I've known Dhaval since almost probably around 7 years now. Um, I've got the opportunity to engage with Double and take his help in transforming my nutrition and diet. And you know, we've engaged in a session, in a coaching session for over a year, and it's really transformed my life. Thank you for that, Double.
You're always welcome. Yeah, thank you for those good words, kind words, Vinayak. So let's start with this, right? Like we work together and we know each other for a very long time. Like, what were some of the unexpected benefits and expected benefits that you got out of this when we work together?
Sure. So the I would start with the expected benefits first, right? Definitely my goal when I started with this was that through nutrition and through habits around food, can I become 10 years younger? When I say 10 years younger, look, feel, and move, right? Why I wanted to feel 10 years younger was that I felt like through. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all sort of learn from our lives, and I felt like for some strange reason that I want to live this 10 years again, right? With the awareness of those mistakes. It's not only I'm talking about food. It could be your career choices and how you manage your money, or it could be your uh, a relationship or anything like that, right? So to do that, I was like, okay, I was very naive in how I lived the last 10 years. I want to relive those. The only way to do that is to extend and have 10 years, right, and live those 10 years again. So that was my goal actually, and to a fair extent, I have achieved that goal in terms of look and feel and mobility, right? So the expected benefits were that, when I not to compare, but like when I see myself hanging out with friends of similar age, my batchmates, I see myself being doing things that they don't want to do, right? And I feel myself making choices in terms of food that they are somehow obligated with their own thought process on it going for those choices, right? So yeah, those are the expected benefits. And in terms of it also gave me a lot of confidence in doing things, career wise, and also in terms of went and did some adventure activities I was able to do only because of those things, right? Unexpected benefits were you know uh, how you become conscious of anything that you're doing, right? Like living, eating is one of the important parts of living, right? It That conscious awareness of uh, probably going down to 5 levels of why not only stayed with eating, it also moved to sleeping, it also moved to how you objectively look at work, what is the kind of stress you take and you don't take, right? I would also say it all built up to being more conscious of, for myself. One is through food, it became the first part. Then I went on to do vipassana, which was a 10 days course, and that made me conscious about myself, and anything that I come across, right? And then it helped me unlock few things in life which I did as a from my bucket list, right? Whether it was an adventure cycling for 500 kilometers over 10 days, or it could be the India trip that I did with my parents between the two, COVID waves for 70 days. I think all of this sort of, the base would be somewhere where, how I got conscious for 1 year on what I ate and why I ate. That the same level of consciousness was also there in Vipassana, right? Like say, 10 days, you are only not reading, not eating, sorry, not reading, not speaking to anyone, not listening to anything, and just observing yourself, right? Like it took me in another orbit of consciousness, right? And that probably stayed on for a year, because I would say only a year, because your environment sort of uh, it has a lot to do with what you become, right? And the environment is not same all the time, but this session definitely impacted my subconscious level, and that's the job done, right? Like when you're eating outside, or eating something that is very oily or junk, or eating away out of proportion, all of those things, that this is going to cause an impact, and you're doing it while that, and you're also ready for the aftermath, right? Like what happens next day and things like that, right? And you know why it is, and then okay, now I'm going to do this to sort of like come back to normal, and then I'm going to follow this routine, right? So, what has helped me from the session is also like, yes, there are certain unavoidable circumstances, consciously and unconsciously, with your choices and without your choices, where you end up in a party or a function or a friend's gathering, or some late night or stress eating. But how do I quickly get back, right? Uh,
Yeah.
if I have to talk in terms of numbers, I went from being 81, 82, which was my BMI 22, 22.5. But I mean, these are numbers, but what makes me is also when I'm at that state, it makes me feel great and good, and uh, uh, how I am confident about myself, right? Like, so this is post doing coaching with double, probably 3, 4 years. I mean, probably the last year, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I went up to 89, right? I have not really been that kind of a guy who gains weight, actually, right? And I think it's I did this session with double when I was on 33 or 34, and post 35, like men change in
So when you
their.
say 33 and 34, so from 89 you then went to 34 kgs, you're talking about 34 years of age right now.
Sorry, 34 years
Right?
of age. When I did the session with you when I was 33, 34 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I did maintain 80, even 82 till last year, right?
Mhm.
And, some stress at work and things like that piled on, like food habits, eating momos and junk and everything like that, right? So I went up to 89, right? And then I was like, okay, this is really making me uncomfortable, and, things like that. And I decided to sort of like get back to my coaching notes, and following what was I feeling for following again, and consciously trying to implement all of those things, right? And then I came back again. Now I'm at 84, BMI 24. I want to be in the get back to 22, but I'm slowly getting there with mainly through
Awesome.
food, right? Like I am physically, I mostly do yoga 3 days a week, and which helps in my mobility and strength. And I do running once or twice a week for 5 kilometers, or sometimes cycling for
Great.
5 to 10 kilometers. Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just to kind of highlight, I see a lot of things. One, the biggest thing that I talk about, or what I understood from your this thing, is the consciousness level at every aspect of your life has gone to the next level, which is the unexpected benefit. From
Yes.
the expected benefits, obviously you wanted to look, feel, and perform 10 years younger. And we did one interview. I think this is live. We did some time back, couple of
Yeah.
years back. I think post your trip, we did that. So we have already talked about it. You did some adventure. So one was cycling. Like how long was that cycling
So
adventure you did?
it was a mountain terrain. It was a mountain bike cycling across the Malnad for it was for 10 days and 500 kilometers, and it was really really tough. Believe me, right? Like it
10
was.
days 500 kilometers is 50 kilometers a day on an average, right? If you
Yeah,
just
but
take the
50
average.
kilometers mountain trail.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it in perspective for anybody. Like even 5 kilometers cycling is tough, right? You're talking about 50 kilometers of cycling, that too on a mountain terrain, that too not just one day, it's like back to back for 10 days, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. And the other thing that you did, which is even more bigger, was the trip, right? You want to talk about that trip?
Yeah, sure. So, made this, life project, where we plan to travel, across India on road for 90 days, covering all the states and union territories. And we successfully did this, although we did it in 70 days, because the second wave was happening. So we did cover all the states and union territories. It was a hell of an adventure where one part we get to see, India, its landscape, its natural geography, and the flora and the fauna and the rich history, but also in terms of experience of food, right? Like we ate local food everywhere, and really delicious good food, but we made conscious choices about, like, how much we are going to eat, when we are going to eat. Mostly our sort of like the experiencing of the local cuisine was mostly in the afternoon lunch, where morning and night we would play safe with our option for breakfast and dinner. But like we didn't leave any any local food there, right? Like and that again, when we're eating very conscious, this really helps. And uh, 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 I guess this coaching session helped me sustain through that crazy project which we did. And with no sickness, no illness, no stomach upset or anything throughout the 70-80 days. Imagine you're eating 80 days outside, but
Yeah,
I didn't choose to eat in your typical North Indian restaurant, eating the masaledar paneer or things like that. Just go eat local, what local people eat, enjoy those food. Yes, of course, sometimes you eat heavy stuff like dal bati churma and things like that, and Gujarati, but that also didn't have any impact on us, actually, right? Like, to be honest, right? So we were very um, we did fine in terms of how we moved through the trip with the food that we ate, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
so
a
that
big
was
one. That's a
yeah
big
that
one,
was
right? I would like 70 days. You're on the road, in your car. You're going to eat whatever is available because you can't pack the ration for 70 days. So you
yeah.
even if you have something, it's like going to last for a week max or two. So eating out for 70 days, and I know like a lot of people talk about I'm not able to eat healthy, I'm not able to do this because I'm traveling or I have to eat out. And when people say I have to eat out, they're talking about 5, 6 meals a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we are talking about 70 days, all meals outside because you're not carrying a kitchen with you and you don't have time or opportunity to prepare. So that's hell of a journey. And that's amazing. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now let
And
me
it's
ask you
changing, right? It's changing every day, right? It's not the same that you get used
exactly.
to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's changing every day. But what helped is, like, we ate local and we ate as per the weather and what suited there.
Yeah.
So that was like, and my mom always made sure that, we ate good, greens and salad and, everything. And like, she used to just ask from the kitchen, like, give me cucumber and give me a knife. I will cut it and I will make a salad over here if salad is not there, and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
while we order one dish, which is probably a khichdi or something that is locally cooked or things like that, right? Yeah,
So yeah, this is a good one. Thank you for sharing that. And I this is what I understand. Like, see, there are things which are available. There are things that you like, and you need to have. What you need is to get the right combination, right? If you get that, what you like, what is available, and you are done. But you need to understand one, what you like, what works for you, and from what is available, how to choose that.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Now let me ask you this, Vinayak. Like, you know, like there are a lot of nutrition coaching programs out there, a lot of fitness and health coaching programs out there, and you're not somebody who's not aware of it. Like you've
Mhm.
seen or been into fitness for quite some time because I know you for 7 years and
Yeah.
you've been into health and fitness even longer. What do you think is different about the coaching that we do here at FitLife versus something else that you would have tried, seen outside? Something that stands
Sure.
out for you.
Yeah, sure. It's not that, like, you diagnose what is the problem and you're telling that this is the solution and you should eat this and you should not eat this and you should avoid this. You are trying to create awareness with us, right? Like, how did you feel? Why did you make that choice? How did you feel after that make that choice? Did it help you? Did it achieve your goal? Like, those like so what works well is, like, you're trying to reprogram, right? Like, that reprogramming is a very tough thing to do by ourselves, to be honest, right? Like, because choices are a lot, like, there are 10 choices right on my phone apart from my kitchen and my dining table, right? So it makes probably 100 choices of how I could go unhealthy about it, right? Um this like, everything outside is trying to make you make the wrong choices, honestly, right? Like especially in terms of your health, right? Like the amount of restaurants that I see are opening in and around Bangalore, and all of them are thriving, flourishing, right? Like packed with people. And like it's good, it's good to hang out, the vibe is good, but like I don't know, for me personally, I felt like post eating, it's not a good feeling in terms of the immediate next day as well as in the long term, right? And apart from the quality of the food and the way it is prepared, my mom always kept telling me that like food is also with feeling, right? Like with emotion, right? So whether it is home cooked food, like whether it is mom prepared or wife prepared, or sometimes like I love the process of arranging in the meal in terms of fiber and the protein and the carb, and it was a creative process for me. It was an art, right? Like so I started enjoying that, although it is a miss now, and I do it sometimes but not that frequently, which was every day, every meal. Now I don't do it, maybe it's once or twice a week, but still I enjoy the process, that like this is my plate and taking a photograph of it, right? So it's an art actually, and creativity is one of the good values to have in your life. I was reading this book about Mark Manison, right? And he says, and for me, this process was creative, right? And from this, it gave a feel to the food that I was eating, and then from there, I enjoyed and how it impacted me while I'm eating, how I felt about it while eating, and how I felt later also, right? So these are the few things that I felt was very different from other coachings that I knew about. And what really hooked me to this coaching session was that one was you were driving you were programming, you're making efforts to program and within the self, right? And the second one was it gave me food as a creative process, creative hobby. I wouldn't say hobby, but like one of the things that I do in a day every day is a creative thing. That's good, right? Like that was very you know what do you say look, something that I look forward to every day.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is the new one, right? So like last couple of sessions, like even of the things that I did with one of the other clients, Dr. Nikhil, and a couple of other guys, they talked about this process being semi-spiritual. Okay. So that is like what you also talked about, like understanding what you're doing, why you're doing. Spirituality is all about purpose, right? So it's like what is the purpose behind what you're doing? But the different angle that I see here and what you brought out is very interesting is the creativity. Now, why I find it so interesting is, see, when you have to make a change, change is hard. Okay, let's accept the fact change is hard. It is difficult.
Very
It
hard.
is messy. It takes time. Now, one, you look at it as compulsion. The other thing, the way you're looking at it as creativity. Now, as soon as you make that a creativity, what you're doing is you are turning stress into recreation.
Yeah,
Creativity is about recreate. Like, see, and so rather than eating healthy being stressful, which
yeah,
is lot of for a lot of people, it's now become a recreation for you. You almost said it's kind of a hobby, though it may not be exactly like a hobby, but it's like on those lines. So it doesn't, if you had to draw a line, this is stressful, this is recreational, this falls into the recreational part, and that's where your perception changes. When your perception changes, your actions changes, right? So that was very interesting. Thank you for bringing that out. Yeah, creative, being, and I know you've been creative with your plates because I've seen most of them, all the
yeah.
pictures that you've shared with. So that was very interesting, right? Any specific uh thoughts or any specific advice, something that you want to share with anybody who's looking to explore working with me?
Yeah. So one of the things that makes challenging when when you're trying to achieve your goal or transform or build that habit through programming is your surrounding. And surrounding is what you have kept around you as well as the people that you talk to. See how you can make. I would suggest like see how you can make the surrounding work for you. Right. It could also make consciously and subtly, not very obviously, to spend time with the people who are on a similar thought process, like the friends and family and things like that, right? I have family members who suggest me to eat healthy, as well as family members, like, hey, eat good day biscuit, nothing will happen, or things like that, right? Like whatever junk, like things like that, right? So that is their choice. But like, how you can sort of make consciously spend your time, resonate, relate with those individuals in your life, whether it is from work or from social life or family, uh, will make the process easier. You will have more people as buddies in this. I think also through the coaching system, there is a cohort or a community that is there, which would everyone would talk about their wins and successes and their challenges. That's also good, but like you will definitely, you wouldn't have honestly you would associate with them with your mission, with your purpose, but to feel that stronger, you that stronger connect, because you're not there physically with them, it wouldn't be there. But like you will have to make conscious choices on whom you spend your time with. That makes the process easier. That makes it more effective. It's hard, like I feel there would be like it's very easy to slip. I mean, I think some part of the session that we were doing was during COVID. So it was you had limited options of going out and moving and things like that, so it made it easier. But now it is all like back to normal, and like even revenge COVID is, I mean, like, people are going out more than what they were going out earlier in terms of in the name of revenge or things like that. So you know yeah, like things are there are a lot of challenges, but like if you make conscious choices, uh, you know uh, it's uh, it's not a problem. Yeah.
Got it. So, if I were to kind of summarize what you said or put it into a little more perspective, is that what you have understood and what you have also found is that your environment makes it very easy or very difficult for you to follow a healthy
Yeah.
lifestyle. So, things,
Yeah.
people, and situation around you can influence the choices that you make. So, proactively start creating an environment, connect with people, and have things, and build situations around you which will
Yeah.
help you stick to the healthy lifestyle. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, yeah, that's the right way. Yeah, like some events, like some social gatherings, I have nowadays. I have dinner at home and then go, and then I said, like, like I was feeling very hungry. I ate at home. Now I don't want anything. Like, so that's how I do it. Like, I'm not only like I actually do it. Meaning, I actually have dinner and go. So I don't feel like eating there and things like that. Right. So those some of the things that I do.
Okay, great. Good idea, right? Not bad choice. All right. So anything else that you would like to share, parting thoughts, anything that is coming to your mind that you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's not a one-time effort. Like, like I said, after I did the session, where I was peak, I'm still not at that peak, but like I went to one low, but I'm back from that low, but I've not reached that peak again. And I hope to, like I have some goals before I become 40. So, those goals help, right? Like I want to do this or I want to do that. That visualizing those goals help. Like, so my comment, my closing comments is that, like, even if you achieve certain goal and it lasts for some time, maybe few months or a year or a couple of years, there could be chances for various known and unknown reasons that you would slip again. But again, there is the beauty that this program does to you is that, like, it gives you some sort of program within you where you can, you can get back. Okay. Maybe with the coach, if you're again going with the coach, it might take X amount of time. And if you're doing it yourself, it might take 1.5x time to 2x. Okay. And, but, either ways, you will again come back to that. And I've known that within this cycle only, like, with in this 4 years only, I've done this once already. And now again, it has happened. But yeah, it's, that's how it is. And over the period of time, my goal is to be more on this side, on the good range, and less on the that range. I would say right now probably it is 50-50, or 60% of the time I'm on the good range and 40%. I would be more like, my target is to be more on the 90% on the good range and 10% wherever I would slip, and uh, be unhealthy and things like that.
Got it. So yeah, interesting thing. Like one of the things that I've talked about, and I've put a lot of my brain into this, and like I think I also created a video on that, which is like habits and all this stuff. And a lot of people wonder, and even I used to wonder when you read Atomic Habits, Tiny Habits, and they talk about habit become automatic. And here's the thing. See, thinking about doing something becomes automatic, not doing it, right? So if you make healthy eating a habit, then making those choices becomes automatic, but still you got to go ahead and do it, right? Same thing is with the exercise. And what happens, as you said, is over a period of time, you look at the larger picture for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years of your life, there'll be a lot of events that would happen. Like COVID hits, lockdowns come in, they open up, something else comes in, and a lot of other things would happen. Your career would change, your life, your family, you probably have new kids, your kids are getting older, they go into school, colleges, all of these things will happen. And these are all what I call it as frictions,
Correct.
okay, which will
Absolutely.
come in your way. So while you're going with the increasing friction, there are times you'll slow down. There are times you will feel that you've dropped off the wagon or you're off track, all that stuff. And again, it's the same thing. Once the friction is gone, and if your effort is more than the friction, you'll come back on track again. So that's how it is. And I also like the way you put this is, which I always talk about. It's not everything is going to be black or white. Like I want to stay more on this side of the path than on the other side. It's okay. I will go that side, right? And I always talk about sports and cricket. It's like you're going to get out on zero. Like just because you hit a century this day, today, does next day, next morning, you're still going to start from zero,
Yeah.
right? And that's the game. What you want to do is you want to be scoring more on the winning side or on the runs than on the zeros and ones that you do. Like so, it's
Correct.
always your effort is to stay more on this side. It will never be like only this side, which is like
Correct.
very, very important. So glad that you brought that point. It is
No, the
uh,
friction points are important. Again, we got to be very cautious if your work changes, or like you said, this events. You expect that you are going to go off balance, right? And then you adjust with that change, and you build a new code, new programming code for how to sort of like build your habits to achieve the goal. It may not be the same as the previous one this time. Okay. Uh,
exactly, yeah,
it may not
good
be the
one.
same as this one, and it might you'll become a coder, right? Like you would have hacked how to with this coaching, you would have hacked how to build new codes to become healthy. So that's the I think good summary to take away, right? Like like you said, you might become a parent, life will change. You might change jobs. It could be different things, right? So now you need a new way to sort of like how to be in your zone, get back to your zone with this new changes. That's it will take time. It will like you will have find bugs. You will find the code not working. Then you will go build a new code, and then this thing. Till that process, you will struggle, but that's okay. That's how you solve problems, and you become confident about solving problems.
Yeah, this is what IT guys who know how to solve the problem talk. Right. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that, Vinayak. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your journey. Really helpful, and a lot of people will get inspiration from that. So thank you.
Thank you, Devil. Keep doing the good work that you're doing, transforming people and making them the best their best form, which is a great thing to do. Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you.